Okay, so our investigation today is on the moon. So we're going to watch a video about the moon and read a book about the moon here in a minute, and we're going to talk about moon phases. But before we do that, I want you to come up with a hypothesis. Remember, a hypothesis is a good educated guess. A guess that uses your schema and what you already know about the moon to decide what might be the answer to this question. Is there a wrong answer? No. No, there's no such thing as a wrong hypothesis. So, I notice that the moon is not always round. I think that, tell me why you think the moon is not always round right here, and draw a picture to go with it. I notice the moon is not always round. I think that, why do you think the moon is not always round? Write it right here and draw a picture. You've got to guess. I'm not going to give you any clues or guesses. I mean, it's your guess, not mine. Tell me why you think the moon isn't always round up in the sky. Draw a picture to go with it. This is your guess, your hypothesis. Why is the moon not always round in the sky? Draw a picture next to it, yep. That goes with your explanation or your hypothesis. Maybe something's blocking it. Maybe the light from the sun we can't see. Maybe it just changes shapes. Maybe it's not midnight yet. So we're going to watch a video and we're going to fill in our moon part of our science journal. So I need you to get out your science journals. And the middle part is the moon. The middle part is the moon. The moon goes around the earth. So let's write that. The moon goes around the earth. Earth is capitalized because it's a name. Moon goes around the earth. Yes. Okay, pull down your mask. There you go. Let mine fog a little bit. Okay, if you didn't finish, it's okay. We'll come back. It's okay. Don't freak out. The orbit, remember when something goes around something, it's called an orbit, takes the moon about 28 days to finish. The only way we can see the moon is because the sun's light is shining on it. It does not give off its own light. It does not have any heat or energy. So it's the sun light shining on it. The light from the sun is always shining on the moon from one side. Where the moon is orbiting determines what the moon will look like in the night sky. We call this the phases of the moon. So it takes 28 days to finish. So let's write that. 28 days to orbit the Earth. Oh, I forgot to capitalize Earth after I told y'all to. Okay, it does not give off its own light. Does not give light. Does not give light. That's really important to know. It does not give off. It doesn't glow. It's not a star. It's just a big round ball of rock and dirt that goes around the Earth. Yes. Yes. Woo. Okay, that says Earth right there. Okay, hopefully it'll play. Chase, you turn the lights off? Thank you.
the new moon. This is when the nighttime side of the moon, the side that's facing away from the sun, is what we can see from Earth. The moon is still up there, but because it's the dark side that's facing us, we can't see it during the new moon phase. The next phase is called the crescent phase. This is when the moon looks like a little sliver, kind of like the tip of your fingernail. After the crescent comes the quarter moon. This is when the moon looks like a half circle. And the next phase is called gibbous. A gibbous moon is when it's missing just a little sliver of light and it's almost full. And that's what's next. The moon is at its brightest at the full moon. That's when the fully lit up side of the moon is facing us, so we see a big bright circle. But we're only halfway through our phases. After the full moon, the lit up part of the moon appears to shrink. And just like how it grew from right to left, the sunny side of the moon will shrink from right to left too. So after the moon is full, it starts to shrink back down to a gibbous moon. But this time, you'll notice that the left side is shining bright instead of the right. After the gibbous phase, the moon will look like half a circle when it reaches the quarter moon phase again. And then after a few days, it shrinks down to a little sliver again, the second crescent moon. After that, the tiny sliver shrinks all the way down until the lit up side of the moon can't be seen at all. Now the moon is a new moon again. It's the same old moon, but it's gone through a month-long cycle of phases, and it's ready to start all over. Like I said, it takes a month for the moon to go through all 8 phases. In fact, our word month comes from the word moon, because it takes a month for the moon to go from new moon through all of its phases and back to the new moon again. So tonight, before you go to bed, take a look out the window. If the sky is clear, can you see the moon? If you can't, what phase is it in? Is it the bright part of the right side or the left side? As the days go by, keep an eye on it and watch how the moon looks like it's changing shape. You can even make drawings to keep track of how it changes from day to day. Now you know that the moon doesn't really change shape. We just see different amounts of the sunny side of the moon as it makes its monthly trip around the Earth. Thanks for joining us today. We love getting questions here at the fort. So if you have one, ask a grown-up to help you. Leave a comment down below or send us an email to kids@scishow.com. Thanks. See you next time.
Okay, yes, it was fake. Okay, so does the moon actually change shapes? No, it doesn't change shapes. It's actually, we see the sun reflecting off the moon. So we see the sun reflect means the light bounces off of it, off the moon. And then we see different parts of the moon each night. Sometimes we just can see a little part because the sun's kind of blocking it. I'll let y'all fill that out. And then we'll go back to our investigation. We are done with this. When you're finished writing this, you can put it back in your desk. When we get back from spring break, we're going to go over it one last time and do one more chapter or unit in our lesson in our science book, and then we'll have a test about objects in the sky. And we'll turn that in to be graded, your flip chart. As we investigated, I saw that. What did I learn about the moon? That tells me why it's not always round. Cooper? It goes around the earth. So as we guys said, I saw that the moon goes around the earth. And we can only see part of it, right? So we learned, I should be capital T, starting to capitalize our sentence. The moon goes around the earth and we can only see part of it. Because of our investigation, I can conclude, does the moon change shapes?
No.
No, I conclude that the moon does not change shapes And then what is the light that we see? Is it the moon making the light?
No.
What is it? It's the sun. Yes. We see what? Oh, sorry. We see what the sun shines on. Maybe we ought to say we see what? We see the part. Maybe we should put that. We see the part the sun shines on. Oh my goodness, I didn't capitalize that sentence either.
Another text.
Okay. So, as we investigated, I saw the moon goes around the earth and we can only see part of it. Because of our investigation, I can conclude that the moon does not change shapes. We see the part the sun shines on. So draw a picture of what you learned here. It may be the same as your hypothesis, because your hypothesis might have been right. But this picture has to be what you learned. Okay, about the moon and the sun only showing part of it. So draw me a picture that shows me what you learned.